Memphis Wrestling is on the road. Join us live next Saturday, September 7th. Memphis Wrestling returns to the Dyer County Fair for Generations of Champions. Bell time is 7 p.m. Friday, September 13th, Memphis Wrestling is live at the Lauderdale County Fair in Ripley, Tennessee. It's free. Sunday, September 15th, TNA wrestling star Jonathan Gresham returns to Memphis Wrestling. Friday, September 20th, Memphis Wrestling returns to New Albany, Mississippi for a huge fundraiser benefiting Ingomar Baseball featuring the Dirty Bird Brawl. Saturday, September 21st, Memphis Wrestling is coming to Ghost River Brewing on Main Street for a huge night of action. Monday, September 23rd, don't miss Memphis Wrestling Live at the Mid-South Fair. All tickets are on sale now. Get yours right now at memphiswrestling.tv.
Hey guys, I love my Quicksilver rewards card from Capital One, and here's what I want to do. I want to get you to get one. That's right, earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase every day. Plus, if you use my link, I'll get you $200 cash bonus. That's right. Cash bonus from me, Big T, because I'm your friend. Capital One. Go to link of all links. Go to my link of all links at stspod.club, right-hand corner, and get your Capital One Quicksilver rewards card right now, today. What is in your wallet? Make it Capital One.
This episode is sponsored by Vitality Chiropractic, your trusted partner in wellness right here in Jonesboro and Newport, Arkansas. At Vitality Chiropractic, we believe in the power of natural healing and the importance of a healthy spine for overall well-being. Life can be hectic, and stress can take a toll on our bodies. If you're experiencing back pain, headaches, or just feeling out of alignment, it's time to make a positive change. Step into Vitality Chiropractic, where our experienced and caring team of chiropractors is dedicated to helping you achieve optimal health. We specialize in personalized chiropractic care tailored to meet your unique needs. Call 870-523-2225 to make an appointment today.
Hey, just a quick reminder, subscribe for $5, $7, or $10 at www.patreon.com/Shooting the Shiznit without a G. That's right, Shooting the Shiznit without a G. This episode is also brought to you by SpunkLube.com. Remember, when you're getting funky like a monkey, if you know what I mean, use Spunky. That's right. Go to www.spunklube.com and tell them STS Pod sent you. This episode is also brought to you by Bear. Eat better, live better. These guys are the best meal prep company in Northeast Arkansas. So get 15% off with our code STSPodClub at bear870.com. That's 15% off. Use our code STSPodClub at bear870.com. Trust Bear for your meal prep needs in Northeast Arkansas. Eat better, live better. Bear. We can all help prevent suicide. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, and also prevention and crisis resources for you and your loved ones. Call 1-800-273-8255.
What happens when someone sends you a box of cassettes from the 1990s? You put them on as a podcast. Sit back and take a trip to the past for Cassette Wrestling News. Stone Cold Steve Austin called this the first ever podcast. These cassettes were mailed every issue to subscribers during the heyday of wrestling fanzines. Jeff Osborne and John Cena sit down and put out an episode of zany, fun, and sometimes some serious stuff. Get ready to dive 30 plus years into the past.
I want to say something really quick right here. We always get with Jeff Osborne to talk about the episode before the episode. He was really too busy, and I got lucky. Guys, this is the reason I had Jeff send me that box of cassettes. There was no guarantee that we would even be able to transfer them. As if you've listened to the first 10 episodes, the quality's it's not real good. But I want to say this episode, the quality is super. And it is the episode that I wanted. Episode 32. Jerry Lawler does a shoot interview on me. So I titled the episode, Brian Tramel is a fat piece of shit. He also talks about Dave Meltzer. This is a really fun episode, and we're going to talk about this on a new episode next week, a WTF at halftime. I'm going to let you listen. Jeff talks about it on what he calls the second side, which will be after the commercial break. And I believe he talks about it again at the end. Thanks, guys. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. That's what I did. I'm having fun with it after all these years.
Welcome again, wrestling fans, to a very special issue number 32 of Cassette Wrestling News, featuring such stars as the Jersey Devil, Big Mouth Vince DePalma, and a special one-on-one Cassette Wrestling News interview with Jerry the King Lawler. We'll be discussing cable television, Brian Tramel and David Meltzer. A blast from the past. Information on the next imaginary paper, listen card of Cassette Wrestling News, plus the truth on the death of Bruiser Brody. All this and much, much more in this action-packed hour of CWN. So as the story goes, sit back in your ringside seat and we'll bring the action to you.
Hello, listeners. This is John Seaton.
And this is Jeff Osborne.
All right, Jeff, let's get right into the nitty-gritty of the thing. Let's talk about the death of Bruiser Brody.
All right, John, now I was supposedly supposed to interview Dutch Mantell a couple of months back, but I never thought to ask him because he was there in Puerto Rico when Bruiser Brody was murdered. Now, you know more about this than I do. I was never really in tune to what was going on with the death of Bruiser Brody. All I know is that the sport is minus one less grappler, and a legendary grappler he was.
Yeah, Bruiser Brody set the standards for others to follow by. He was the ultimate brawler. Plus, he was a fine ring technician and one of the top stars in the States, and particularly in Japan, where he was practically worshipped. He was called the intelligent monster in Japan. Well, mentioning Dutch Mantell was in the dressing room when Bruiser Brody was murdered, underlined murdered, Jeff. Dutch Mantell left the dressing room prior to the stabbing. He went out to check on the crowd, or to see a match that was occurring. But a man who did see the incident was Tony Atlas. This happened in Bayamon, Puerto Rico, and it was at the Bayamon Stadium. And Jose Gonzalez, who was at the time one of the top faces, he wrestled as the Invader, which is the only really highest ring status he ever achieved, was one of the Invaders. Anyway, he asked Bruiser Brody to follow him into the dressing room shower stalls, where, as Brody followed him into the dressing room shower stalls, he was murdered. He was stabbed in the chest, I believe 4 times in the abdomen, and he died the next morning. One man who saw it was Tony Atlas, and Tony Atlas was supposed to testify, but because of the fact that Tony Atlas did not testify, Jose Gonzalez is a free man, Jeff.
I understand that there were threats to Tony Atlas's family in this, Nothing. I was not aware of this, John. I just thought he didn't go to the trial just because he didn't want to, but he saw the whole thing, and did he not admit that Brody was murdered?
Yes, he admitted to Bill Apter of Pro Wrestling Illustrated fame that indeed he did see the entire incident, and Brody was, in Atlas's own word, Brody never suspected a thing. The knife was moving all the time, and it was just cold-blooded murder. Those were exact quotes from Tony Atlas. He was subpoenaed to appear at the trial, but I guess discretion is better for our valor, and he fled Puerto Rico, probably due to the fact that he received death threats to himself and his family and whatnot, and he backed out of the thing, and it's really a shame because now Jose Gonzalez has been acquitted, and he's looked upon as a hero. The fans there think that Bruiser Brody was a wild man, that Jose was acting in self-defense, which is totally not the case. There were several other wrestlers in the dressing room at the time, like the Young Bloods and Dutch Mantell and Carlos Colon, but they did not see it. Atlas was a key witness, and he was the only thing that could have prosecuted. He was the only thing that could have led to the prosecution of Jose Gonzalez as a murderer. But like I said, he took the easy road out. He gave in to the pressure and from the death threats, and he fled Puerto Rico. And because of this, Jose Gonzalez is a free man. Damn it, Jeff.
Now I understand that is Gonzalez a stockholder in the WWC, and I understand he was a stockholder along with Carlos Colon and a number of others. Is this? I don't know anything about this.
That's true. That's true, Jeff. Jose Gonzalez helped build the Puerto Rican wrestling scene along with Carlos Colon and Victor Jovica. These men were all friends. They're like blood brothers. They wrestled together and known each other for years and years and years. I think Carlos and Victor Jovica, who were in the dressing room at the time, they testified that they thought it was self-defense, in which case it was not. Bruiser Brody was stabbed. He was murdered. And he had no idea what was going on. He was just plain outright stabbed. It's murder in my book, and it should be in yours too. And I think Jose Gonzalez got away with murder, damn it.
You said you wanted to ask Dutch Mantell what exactly he saw, but Dutch is in the NWA now. I believe Dutch was the person that Brody told, tell my wife and tell my son that I love him. I think, was this true, John?
Yes, these were his last words before he lost consciousness, and he was taken to the hospital where he died the following morning. Frank Goodish was one of the greatest wrestlers ever to come down a pike. He's in my top 20 wrestlers of not only this generation, but of all time, Jeff. He was truly great. He was legendary in the ring circle, and anybody who loves wrestling loved Bruiser Brody, and it's a shame that a little pissant wrestler like Jose Gonzalez is getting away with murder of a great... I don't understand the motive. Maybe there was something going on between them. I don't know. Drugs could be involved, but you never know. It's just inside stuff. You can only speculate.
All right. With our condolences to the family of Bruiser Brody, and we're missing a bright, shining star, John.
That's right. The people in Japan, they commemorate his death by they had a memorial in the ring. Giant Baba presented this, and everybody in the stadium bowed their heads in a moment of silence, and it was truly a tribute to a great wrestler and a good man.
All right. John, let's go to, not necessarily a lighter subject, but one that needs to be brought to the attention of not only the wrestlers, but, the promoters. Now, I'd like to thank Vince DePalma for sending me a tape of John Anthony's Wrestling Spotlight. That's 1440 AM in Babylon, New York. Now, on this particular show that Vinny sent me, Billy Graham was on this show talking about the dangers and the evils of steroids. Now, I couldn't believe this, John. He says 90 to 95% of all wrestlers use steroids. This is a phenomenal number. I never thought that. I don't know.
Well, Jeff, I would say the number's up in that high percentage. I'd say closer to 75 to 80% of wrestlers use steroids. There are men like Dutch Mantell and Jerry Lawler and wrestlers of this nature, Rick Morton, Robert Gibson, Bobby Eaton, men who never use steroids. They're just naturally gifted athletes, and they don't need it. But then you have the men, the new age wrestlers, I call them, the men like Sting, the men like the Road Warriors, the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, men like this, who personify wrestling power, but with little technique or skill. These are the men that are ruining wrestling. True, they have charisma, but do they have the skills necessary? No, I don't think so. You look at a man like Ric Flair. I think Ric Flair does take steroids, but I think he only does it to keep up with these younger lions who are coming into the sport so he can compete on a level with them like Lex Luger. So, it's either you take it and be successful, or you don't take it and you kind of flounder around.
John, that's one reason that, you or I cannot get in the wrestling business, because I don't want to take steroids. I know you don't want to take steroids. I know you've seen some of the steroids. You have some at home, but those things are about the size of baseballs, and I couldn't stand swallowing those things every day or injecting them or anything like that, and to suffer the consequences. Recently Hawk's heart rate was beyond belief, and he couldn't participate on the Meadowlands card. And you know what this was from, John?
I believe from steroid usage. It affects your heart rate dramatically. Road Warrior Hawk is suffering from this, and if the man's smart, and I believe Road Warrior Hawk is smart, he'll realize that his health is more important than just being big and being able to, be successful in the wrestling business. Your health's the number one thing. Don't forget that.
But let me point out something that Superstar Billy Graham said. He said once you start on steroids, you're hooked on them for life, and there's no way to get off of them unless some life-threatening ailment attacks you, such as the bone disease that Superstar Billy Graham has. Now, I feel sorry for the wrestlers, because I know that they say, well, look how big I'm getting. I'm just going to take that much more. And it has to be addictive. And Billy Graham says they'll never come off of it unless they see what happens. And
it's true. It's interesting to note that it may be addictive in physical form, but once you start taking them, you will start noticing gains in muscle and strength, and then you just keep on getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's hard to stop. It's a vanity thing, Jeff. And like you say, you and I could have access to steroids. I lift weights on and off. I've been lifting weights on and off for the past 10 years, and the biggest I've ever gotten is 190 pounds, and that's without steroids. So how do you think these men get as big as they do? Without chemical help? Give me a break.
Now, I recently watched a show on ESPN about weightlifting, and a guy on there says, your body can only get so big until you have to start using extracurricular means of strength. And he says that most people you do see in sports, and it's an upcoming thing here, it's on the rise. Steroid abuse is definitely a no-no if you want to live past the age of 50.
Well, like I say, Billy Graham's 46 years old. You look at him, you swear he's in his 60s. That is a testimony, plus the fact that he's crippled. Wrestling is not the only sport that we're picking on as far as steroid usage. Bodybuilders take them. Football players take them. It's prevalent in every major sport where strength is involved and size is needed. And that's the bottom line, and I feel sorry for the athletes. Sure, you're enjoying the success now, the Lex Lugers, the Stings, the Ultimate Warriors. But when you're older and when you retire, you're going to be screwed up, buddy boy.
All right, that's our opinion of steroids. Say no to steroids. All right, John, let's talk about some topics here. I had a lot of comments. We've got nothing but thumbs up on the Dream Wars, John. And
that's surprising, Jeff.
I know. Me and John didn't like it. We thought the production level was sort of low. But listen to this. I promise you, we're going to have a Dream card during the summer.
We have yet to name it, however.
Yes, if you got a name for the Dream card, something original, let us know and send us in your matches. I know we've signed 2 or 3 matches already. Blanchard will take on Arn Anderson, and Sting and the Ultimate Warrior are going against the Road Warriors. That's the only 2 matches we know right now. So if you have any suggestions, drop them to us, and it's going to be our next Dream card, and we promise it's going to be 100 times better.
That's right. I won't repeat phrases over and over again like I've been hearing complaints. Plus, we'll use entrance music and stuff like that, and it'll be a better production, I guarantee it.
Speaking of production, John...
All at the same price.
Yeah, all at the same price. By the way, the Dream Wars orders, I'm not taking any more, so those of you who have them, they are collector's items now, I guess. But speaking of production levels... I got a couple of comments on the production level of issue number 30 saying that it was the best issue as far as production wise. Our voices were clear, and the tape speed was right on. But that's a different story, John. Let's talk about Mark Lawrence. What the hell's going on with him? I don't understand this.
Well, it seems that Mark Lawrence is out of the wrestling business as an announcer. He has gone into the ministry. I can't picture Mark Lawrence into religion and being in the ministry, but if he's really got his heart set into it, I wish him all the best, because the ministry is, I'm religious, even though I cuss quite a bit, damn it. But I wish him all the best. But he never was much as an announcer, if you ask me. But I kind of just watched him just to hear him look stupid, and even look and sound stupid. I watched his show just to see him.
I never liked the man, John, to tell you the truth, and he's the worst announcer to go down in the history of
Could be, might be, no.
How about this new announcer? Do you know anything about him?
Well, they've got this new announcer on KTVT Championship Sports, which is a 2-hour world-class, or USWA, wrestling program. He's a Clark Kent look-like. He's about like 6'6", and he towers over the wrestlers. He makes Kerry Von Erich look small. And the guy, but he's a geek. He's got glasses. He's got kind of dark brown hair, and he always wears suits. And he's taller than Mark Lawrence, and Mark Lawrence was fairly tall. Guy, he doesn't know his wrestling just doesn't know his wrestling.
All right, we'll have to see what develops out of that. Now, the Dirty White Boys, Alex Porto, I don't know what the deal is with him, but he is gone. They get a new Dirty White Boy, Jimmy Powell, who I mentioned on the last issue. He doesn't compliment Tony Anthony at all, John. What's going on here?
Well, supposedly, from what I've seen, Alex Porto was injured at the hands of Billy Joel Travis with the guitar, and he was out of action for some time because of the guitar incident where he was cracked over the skull. This left a void in the team where Ronnie Gossett recruited Jimmy Powell. Where the hell they got this guy, I have no idea. But he's about his arms are like 10 inches around diameter, and the guy is totally out of shape. He looks like a major prelim wrestler. And but he's got charisma. He comes off as kind of crazy, but he doesn't have the look to be a Dirty White Boy. But then they got rid of him, and then they brought Alex Porto back, and he was swearing revenge against Billy Joel Travis. But then the next time we saw them, Jimmy Powell was there again, so they're switching back and forth. I don't think they know what they want. Personally, my advice to them would be to get Lynn Denton, the original Dirty White Boy, the grappler, and bring him in as partner of Tony Anthony. These men have a lifelong friendship, and they're one heck of a team, and I think they could win some major titles out there, Jeff.
I think if they were in the area, I would give them the USWA World Tag Team titles, and possibly I think they'd have a great feud with Billy Joe Travis and Jeff Jarrett. But, that's a different story, and, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if Porto's left the area or what, but he wasn't that bad of a Dirty White Boy.
No, he had the physique and the look. He looked like a younger Tony Anthony, and he was a former Dallas jobber where he's a beat-up boy. He beat up on television, but he made it to the team of the Dirty White Boys, and he wasn't half bad. He had some good moves. His flying leg drop a la Bobby Eaton off top rope was something to see. I don't know where he is, but get rid of this Powell guy, and I think now they've gotten rid of him. That Dirty White Boy Tony Anthony is by himself without a partner.
I don't know what's going on here, John. I don't know. All right, as promised, here's the interview with Jerry the King Lawler. And with Jerry the King Lawler. Jerry, how have you been lately?
Well, I hopefully have been doing fine. I feel good, and matches have been going well, and everything's going okay, really.
I understand you've been wrestling for Joel Goodhart up in Philadelphia. Is there any chance of a merger going with the USWA and him?
Well, I don't think so. That was more along the lines of an independent sort of thing. Naturally, I wrestle most of the time for the USWA, but still, I'm also available for independent bookings. And Joel, of course, is a friend of mine, and he called me a while back about some matches. Any chance I have to help him out, it was a pleasure going up there. I mean, it was really a super promotion. I've wrestled on a few independent cards that haven't been all that well put together, and this was the first time I'd ever actually wrestled on one of Joel's promotions, and it was really a super card. a great crowd. Everything just went really well. So I was real pleased with it, and I think we're going to be doing another one on June the 6th up there in Philadelphia.
I heard your opponent's going to be Austin Idol. Is that true?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be against Austin Idol. Most of the wrestling fans realize what kind of feud I've had in the past with Idol, and there one time he and Tommy Rich, a couple of guys that hospitalized me, and so any chance I get to get in the ring against Idol I always look forward to it. I had an incident that took place in just this past time when I wrestled up there, where Idol was kind of taking advantage of his opponent. So I went into the ring, and I guess out of that's how this rematch stemmed from what took place in the aftermath of that match.
Have you had any offers from the NWA or WWF, or you try to stay away from those two?
Well, yeah, I know. I've never entertained any thoughts at all about going to the WWF. I mean, it's just like as far as I'm concerned, a big joke, The NWA, I've never really thought about going in there. I wish there was some sort of way that they could work more closely with some of the other organizations. But, I think their problem now is that they're so obsessed with trying to emulate the WWF. And I think the best thing they could do is pretend the WWF doesn't even exist, which is what Vince McMahon does to them. Just pretend they don't even exist and go try to do the thing you can that'll do the best you can without trying to copy or without trying to better somebody else. Now I watch their shows, and it's like they're going to be a bigger joke than the WWF with the RoboCop and stuff like that. It's like they got what's the guy's name, Hurd or whatever. They list him as the choreographer on the shows and stuff like that. It's like it's like I just think it's the fans' loss that the organizations no longer cooperate with each other. And that, once they sign these wrestlers into long-term contracts, there goes any movement between different parts of the countries by the wrestlers, and the fans are the ones who suffer in this. Now if you're a fan of, no matter what organization you're a fan of, you're stuck with seeing the same wrestlers week in and week out, no matter how good they are. It gets old to the majority of the fans. It's the old thing: variety is the spice of life, and that goes for everything. The wrestling fans would rather see, no matter how much they like Ric Flair or the Four Horsemen or Lex Luger or Sting or whatever, when they see these guys week in and week out, it just gets old, And before, beforehand, the guys could go from one part of the country to the other and wrestle for different organizations, and it kept everything fresh. But now, if you look at the business in general, everything's just getting stale all over the country.
Is there any chances of any other wrestlers coming into the area? Any new talent coming in?
Well, where's it going to come from? I mean, that was one of the other things. That was one of the other things that used to take place. Guys could, when you say new wrestlers, it was somebody that was maybe wrestling in another part of the country that somebody hadn't seen here for a while, and if they would come in, they would be considered a new wrestler. But now, these guys are seen all over the place on cable television. Just a case in point. Recently, the Rock and Roll Express, they had been featured in the NWA for years, and then when they left there, they came into this area, and everybody said, "Oh, great, Rock and Roll Express! It's like new wrestlers in the area." But they weren't new to the fans, because the fans have been seeing them on cable TV week in and week out for the past years, and so it didn't mean anything. I mean, it wasn't like being fresh and new, and that's the problem that we're having all throughout the business part of the wrestling, or the wrestling in general.
Do you feel that cable TV has sort of ruined the attendance?
Well, cable TV certainly hasn't helped the attendance. I mean, but to be perfectly honest with you, I can't blame it on cable TV. I have to blame it on the wrestling promoters. They're the ones that are so greedy that they want their shows that they allow themselves to be overexposed and oversaturated. And when you saturate a market with something on television, I don't care if it's wrestling or if it's baseball or if it's football or boxing, no matter what it is, the people's appetite will eventually get satisfied. And that's what's happened. They've oversaturated the markets with wrestling. And so when somebody can sit home and if they've got cable could watch 30 or 40 hours a week of wrestling on television for free, why would they then pay $8 to $10 to go down and watch another 2 hours worth?
All right, I want to bring up a final point here. One of our listeners, Brian Tramel.
Is one of your listeners?
Yeah, he's one of our listeners. He said he had a run-in to you. I thought I'd give you a chance to tell your side of the story on this.
Well, I don't know if you would call it a run-in. In his case, it was more of a run-out. Brian Tramel, and you know, I apparently he writes or has his own what do you call it? A bulletin or a fan sheet or something like that, similar, I guess, maybe to the Wrestling Observer, which is the one that I think probably most fans are familiar with. But what happened, I was reading, somebody brought one of the Wrestling Observer yearbooks to my attention in Louisville, Kentucky one night. I was reading some articles that this Brian Tramel wrote, and you know, talking about how, I mean, the only thing that I cared about was what he said about me personally. I mean, you know, he talked about how I was like the least or the most unimproved wrestler and that my work rate was bad or something like that. Anyway, you know, what irks me is that the majority, or probably 99% of the people that hear this or that read those sheets have never seen Brian Tramel. Well, I know Brian Tramel personally because he comes to the matches every time we wrestle in Arkansas, in Jonesboro, Arkansas in particular. And Brian Tramel is a big, fat, unathletic looking slob, and so I guarantee you the only thing athletic about this guy are his feet, because if you look at him, you would know in an instant that he has never played any type of sport, he has never participated in any type of competition, certainly not wrestling, and then for a big, fat, overbearing jerk like this to set himself up as a critic of somebody that's devoted their entire life to this profession, it kind of teased me off. And I brought him in the dressing room, and he came in the dressing room thinking everything was fine, and when he stood there, they closed the door, and I said, there were a couple other guys, there were Jerry Calhoun, Randy Hales, and Big Lou Winston were standing there, and I said, guys, I want you to, I don't know if you can, I just want to tell you exactly what I said. I said, guys, I want you to look at this big fat piece of shit standing here. He thinks he can tell us who's a good wrestler or not. And as soon as I said that, Brian Tramel's eyes got about as big as saucers, and he broke and ran. That's why I call it, he said we had a run in. It was a run out. He tried to run out of the dressing room, and I was able to slam the door on his face and get his big fat body back into the dressing room. And I said, no, you're going to stand here and listen, because I want to hear what you got to say to me face to face instead of what you write in all of these sheets. I want you to say it to me face to face. Well, he never uttered one word because his lips started trembling, and he started crying like a big fat baby. And I just stood there, and I proceeded to tell him what I thought of him and these people who sit out there and you know, have never competed in wrestling, don't know anything about wrestling other than what they've seen on television, and then they think that they have the know-it-all to call themselves critics and set themselves up to criticize and critique what I do and how I make my living, you know. And of course, if that's what they want to call, I mean, if that's what they want to do, they can be like these fags Siskel and Ebert that are critics, movie critics or whatever. Maybe that's what they want to be, is wrestling critics. That's fine, but I just wanted to have the opportunity to tell him what I thought of him. You know, most of these guys, even like a David Meltzer, you know, here's a jerk who wants to criticize somebody's work rate, and he thinks he thinks the only thing that is a good wrestling match is what he likes. Well, David Meltzer has never made one dime in the wrestling business, and I've made myself a millionaire. So obviously my work rate is pretty damn good, and obviously I know a little bit about what it takes to be successful in this business because I've been doing it for 19 years, and these jerks have been paying money to come see me do it. Well, I can just tell him that the guys that have made the most money in this profession are not the best wrestlers. They're the guys that have the best psychology, and they're the guys that know what the wrestling fans want to see, and the guys that know how to give it to them. And I'm one of those guys, and these guys, like David Meltzer and like Brian Tramel, are not the typical wrestling fans, and what they want to see is not what draws money. And let's face it, this is a business, and we're in this business to make money, just like everybody else is in business to make money. We're in this business to put as many people into these arenas as we possibly can and sell as many tickets. And what those guys think sells tickets is absolutely what does not sell tickets, and so I just thought that it was my opportunity to set this jerk straight and tell him what I felt, and I did that. And like I said, I don't care what he writes in his book, I don't care what he writes in his sheets or what he says. I'm telling you the truth. The guy started crying like a baby and never said one word. I said, "Go ahead, speak, say this stuff to my face." He never uttered one word. Tears were running down his face. His lip was quivering. I finally opened the door and I said, "Get your fat ass out of here." And he ran like a coward out of the building. That's the last time I've seen Brian Tramel.
Okay, the comments from Jerry the King Lawler, and go ahead and turn the tape over to the other side.
Hey, I want to talk about one of our sponsors, Bear. B-A-R-E, period. That's right. Their tagline is "Eat better, live better." And I'm speaking from experience here. That's right. The better things you put in your body, the better you feel. These guys are the best meal prep company in Northeast Arkansas because, well, they prep all my meals and they don't put any of those artificial flavorings or seasonings in their food. It's just the bare ingredients. You see what I did there? Here's how it works. You choose the meals you want in your desired pickup location from their easy-to-use website. Your meals are ready Monday morning and available for pickup based on the hours of the location. They have 7 locations right here in Jonesboro, 2 in Paragould and 1 in Brooklyn. Go to bear870.com and place your order today. So here's what I want you to do. Get 15% off with our code STSPodClub at bear870.com. That's 15% off and use our code STSPodClub. Trust Bear for your meal prep needs in Northeast Arkansas. Eat better, live better. Bear. Are you enjoying the episode? Well, Cash App us. That's right, $BTSTS. You don't have Cash App? Download it and get $5. That's right, $5. That's $BTSTS, $BTSTS.
Attention candy connoisseurs, brace yourselves for a flavor explosion at Arizona Bay Candy, your go-to destination for the most unique and delicious freeze-dried treats. Dive into the extraordinary world of flavor at ArizonaBayCandy.com, where every bite is an adventure. Picture this: chili mango taffy that combines the sweetness of mango with a spicy kick of chili, a tropical fiesta for your taste buds that will leave you craving more. But that's not all. Indulge in the Dud Nuggets, bite-sized delights with a crunchy exterior and a melt-in-your-mouth center. It's a sweet and satisfying nugget experience like no other. Peanut butter and jelly taffy takes you on a nostalgic journey with the perfect blend of creamy peanut butter and sweet jelly. A classic combo reimagined in a chewy and delightful treat. Ready to elevate your snack game? Head over to ArizonaBayCandy.com and explore the full range of freeze-dried treats that will transport you to flavor paradise. Secure checkout and fast shipping make indulging in these unique delights just a click away. Arizona Bay Candy, where flavor meets fantasy. Unleash the taste adventure at ArizonaBayCandy.com. Treat yourself to freeze-dried perfection today.
Want a discount? Go to link of all links on our social media accounts and get 10% off all your orders. pleasure seekers, get ready to elevate your intimate moments with the one and only Spunk Lube Pure Silicone, the go-to choice for a slick and sensational experience. Introducing the 8-ounce bottle of Spunk Lube Pure Silicone, available now at spunklube.com. It's not just lube, it's an invitation to a world of heightened pleasure and comfort. Picture this: silky smooth, long-lasting, and oh so sensual. Whether you're flying solo or exploring with a partner, Spunk Lube Pure Silicone is your passport to pleasure paradise. Let the passion flow as Spunk Lube Pure Silicone intensifies the connection, providing the slipperiest, most luxurious experience you've ever imagined. Go to spunklube.com today.
You folks know I like to take a minute to talk about my old buddy Sleazy E. Well, he's got a good show coming up Saturday, September the 28th at the Dedicated Visual Art Studio. That's right, North Little Rock, Arkansas. This is the first time that they brought the ring dedicated to wrestling. Sleazy Wrestling tickets is $10. Festival start at 4 p.m. Bell time for wrestling, well, it's 7 p.m. They have a live music. They have food. They have some tamales. It's going to be a fun time, guys. Make sure you bring your own chair. Sleazy will be there. Zay Washington, Buddy Badcock, Austin Rothschild, Cody Murdoch, Triple J, and many, many, many more. Tag team action, hardcore action, huge, huge card. Did I tell you delicious tamales for sale? Music, I said the show starts at 4. The music starts at 4. Be there. That's right, I said be there. September the 28th, Dedicated Visual Art Studio in North Little Rock, Arkansas. Love my mama. Love me some Sleazy.
All right, what you just heard was the interview from Jerry the King Lawler. I got a call from Brian Tramel the other day because I sent this interview to him about a week or so ago before we started recording. I wanted to get it from him before I played anything on the air. I did. Jerry Lawler had quite a few more comments. However, I don't want to play some of those comments on the air. But, I'm going to remain neutral in this. But Brian Tramel said, yes, that's basically how the story went. But he did not cry at all, and he was not afraid of Jerry Lawler. But
I know I would be.
I don't know, John. I don't think I would be. It's just the idea of having 3 other people behind you and Lawler in front of you. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say anything. Like I said, I'm saying it neutral. Brian said that's basically how it went. However, the part about him crying, he said that it was not true.
Well, like you, I'm going to remain neutral. I don't want to take Brian's side. I don't want to take Jerry's side. But it's interesting, it's something to report on. But damn it, why does stuff like this have to happen, Jeff? Wrestlers and journalists shouldn't be involved in any fracases of any sort or variety.
Lawler didn't give me any trouble, and I told him I was sort of a sheet editor, but he didn't really say anything about it. I like to get his opinion on the sheets. But I think he just pretty well summed it up about Meltzer and Brian. But, that's Jerry's opinion. Everybody has a different opinion. And
everybody has the right to express their opinion, damn it.
All right, speaking of opinions, John, we're going to go to the Jersey Devil. I know.
Oh, God.
As John would say, it's the opportune time to go to the restroom. And Jersey Devil, if you have any more comments about my girlfriend, you better watch it, buddy.
I'm going to go take a piss, Jeff.
All right, let's go to the Jersey Devil.
Welcome to the Jersey Devil Show. Barry Windham and Sid Vicious have become the newest members of the Horsemen, joining Ole and Arn Anderson and Ric Flair. What an awesome combination. Now, this is the kind of team that will assure the Horsemen of dominance in the NWA for a long time to come. Luger and Sting better be on their guard. Horsemen rule. I just received word that Dustin Rhodes received a tryout in the WWF. Oh, great. Just what we need. Another pork-out king in the making. Boy, that Dustin's a real chip off the old suet block. Eh, pal? Hey, Steve Beverly, you geek. How could you print such a dumb column in your April 30th issue? Dr. Mike Lano, or Lame Brain as I like to call him, submitted an article that almost made sense. He talked about stereotypes in wrestling and how Eddie Gilbert had booked creatively in the UWF with very little stereotyping. Then he finishes his column with the suggestion that wrestling should have characters like a dentist, veterinarian, an IRS man, podiatrist, or a proctologist. Oh. Hey, did I miss something here, pal? Is that a joke? Boy, would I ever shell out $15 to see a show where the main event was Dusty Rhodes against his proctologist in the squared circle. Boy. Give me a break. Finally, I've got some great news. The NWA will return to the Meadowlands Arena in New Jersey sometime this fall after a successful April 26th run. I'll see you there, cretins. Until next time, this is the Jersey Devil from deep in the swamps of Jersey.
All right, the opinion of the Jersey Devil. I don't know about this.
Well, I know the man's real name, and I ought to reveal it on the air, but I'm not going to out of respect for his rights. But the Jersey Devil, the man is all mouth, and man, basically his opinions are not, just don't make any sense, and I wish I could meet this guy face to face, and let him call me a Tommy Rich lover to my face.
Maybe this could be on the upcoming Dream card.
All right. Jersey Devil, I challenge you to a wrestling match on the Dream card. If you're not too much of a puss, you'll accept.
Ooh my. John, I remember last issue you promised to do an impersonation of the Jersey Devil and Vince De Palma and Evan Ginsberg. Are you going to live up to this?
Why, yes, Jeff, I will. Of the three, the only one that I have trouble doing would be the Jersey Devil. He's got kind of an irritating, kind of a whining voice. It's very hard to do, but I can do Evan and I can do Vinny. But I wanted those two gentlemen to know that this is just in fun and I mean nothing by it. But as for the Jersey Devil, I mean every word I say when it comes to him. And right. When I make fun of him, I really mean it, damn it. All right.
Go for it, John.
All right. First, Vinny De Palma. Hi, this is Big Mouth Vince with my wrestling commentary. Jeff, what's this I hear about Ric Flair retiring or maybe going to the WWF? This makes me furious. And as for John Seaton and his cussing, it really doesn't offend me all that much, but he could tone it down for the young viewers out there. Until next time, this is Big Mouth Vinny De Palma.
Okay, John. How about Evan Ginsberg?
All right, remember, Evan, this is just in fun, damn it. This is Evan Ginsberg, editor of Wrestling Today Now. Jeff, the wrestling action is hot and heavy. I attended independent card up here. Jerry Lawler was on the card, and he threatened several wrestling journalists in his dressing room, including myself. I did not cry in front of him, however. He pushed me, and I kicked him in the balls, and I ran out of the room. Until next sample issue .25, Wrestling Dinner Now. This is Evan Ginsberg, editor of Wrestling Dinner Now. Bye.
Okay, how about the man you're feuding with currently, the Jersey Devil?
All right, listen up, twerp. All right, here's my impersonation of the Jersey Devil. Why the hell am I supposed to do this guy for? I don't even like him. Why am I imitating him for, Jeff?
I don't know.
This guy cuts me down every time he sends a tape in, and I'm not gonna honor him by soiling my words by imitating his voice. Jersey Devil, forget it. If you want to hear an impersonation, you tape record your own voice and listen to it, damn it.
Okay, it seems we have a feud brewing here, John. I suggest you settle down.
I want him!
Settle down, John. Just calm down. It's all right here. Last time, I said on tape that I'm not going to be giving any more plugs, and this is because it takes up too much time. So if you bulletin editors want to give yourself a plug, send it into the show with your own tape commentary. Plug in your bulletin or your product. So, I feel this is the best way to do it. So right now we're going to go to an advertisement that's been sent in.
Oh, by the way, I invite any listeners out there who feel they can imitate my own eloquent voice to send in a tape.
All right, John. I'll welcome that too. But all right, let's go to Brian Tramel, or somebody with Brian Tramel.
Hi, this is Brandy Toombs. For all you people out there who love wrestling, if you want a free sample of Tape Update, Wrestling's Bulletin for Mature Readers, write Brian Tramel, editor, 1806 South Circle, Apartment B, Jonesboro, Arkansas, 72401. Or you can call him at 501-932-3847. Low prices, fast service, and great quality. We hope to be hearing from you real soon.
All right, that's the only plug we have because Brian is the only editor that sent in his advertisement. Now, I haven't checked the post office box for about 3 or 4 days, so I don't know what the heck's in there. I know Vinny has probably got a commentary in there I'd like to get a hold of and play by the end of this issue. And, I haven't checked the box or anything, so I'm sure we have some new listeners. And if I do check the box, which I'm pretty sure I will, I'm going to list all the new listeners and play a commentary from Vince De Palma and possibly Evan Ginsberg. Now, John, I don't know how they're going to take those impersonations and how the feud's going to turn out here with the Jersey Devil.
Well, listen, Jeff. Like I've said, the impersonations of Evan and Vinny were just in fun. I don't mean anything by it, but the one I was supposed to do of Jersey Devil, I don't like this guy. I don't like the tone of his voice. I can just tell by the tone of his voice and the sound of it. This man's a little twerp. He's probably got long hair, like you. He's a hippie.
Are you putting me down because I have long hair, John?
Take it any way you want it, Jeff. I'm the star of the show. You know that.
Well, coming from a guy that can hold a flaming hot piece of coal longer than a job, I don't take too kindly to that crap, John.
Oh, it's coming from a guy who takes a shit. He has to pull his hair up or he sits on it. That doesn't hold too much water for me either. Damn it!
John, you got as much chances of whipping the Jersey Devil as a one-legged midget in an ass-kicking contest. I don't know what that...
Oh, yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
I want him!
All right, we're going to hang this up here for a couple of days. It's Wednesday now, and we're going to wait for Capital Combat, and we'll give you our views of Capital Combat after it's done. And
I think it's going to be one heck of a card.
I don't know, John.
Mine just says Robocop crap.
Robocrap. Okay. I don't know. We'll review the entire card in just a few moments, and hopefully a commentary from Vince De Palma. The show will not be complete without the commentary from Vince. And I want to apologize right now to everyone about last issue. The endings were cut off all the tapes due to we went over about a minute or two on the show, so I apologize for that. All right, we're going to set it down here, John, and we'll be back with a Capital Combat review.
All right.
We just got through watching Capital Combat here, and a lot of interesting things happened. Opening match, John. Sullivan Slaughterhouse, comprised of Bam Bam Bigelow, Kevin Sullivan, and Cactus Jack, took on the Road Warriors in Norman. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, John?
Well, I thought this match was really going to stink, Jeff. But the action was really top-notch. And Hawk gave one of the best performances I've seen him give in a long time. I thought with this EKG heart problem he had, he wouldn't be wrestling as much, and he wouldn't be as big due to lack of steroid usage and working out. But he was gigantic, and he did some incredible moves. But the man who shined out of all 6 men had to be Cactus Jack, Jeff.
Definitely. Taking a backdrop on the floor, a hip toss on the floor, another backdrop, then over the railing, landing on a couple of spectators almost. And phenomenal. He landed on that chair and then Hawk threw the stairs at him and nailed him.
While he was on the rail. And, well, the match anyway ended when Kevin Sullivan was clotheslined off top rope by a Road Warrior Hawk and thereby pinned.
Of course, Sullivan gets pinned. Now, the second match, Johnny Ace took on Mean Mark Calloway, or Callis, whatever you want to call him.
Yes, Jeff, this match went way too long, and really, it had some good work in it, but went a little bit too long. Callis, and Johnny Ace did work. They worked some fine spots, but the Heart Punch did it for Mark Calloway, and he got the victory.
The next match saw Tommy Rich Mike Rotundo taking on the Samoan SWAT team. Tommy Rich looks to be in some of the better shape.
Yeah, listen up, Jersey Devil. Tommy Rich is on a comeback trail. He's getting in shape, getting in the gym, and really hitting the weights. And his performance, while his performance was lackluster in this match, he does look good.
Tommy Rich was pinned as a illegal means, but SST wins it. All right, what was the next match, John? Was it Midnight Express taking on Z-Man Flying Brian? Oh, wait a minute, John. It was Teddy Long and Paul Ellering, and needless to say, Ellering still looks in phenomenal shape.
For a man at his age, in his late 30s, he looks phenomenal. He looks like the G. Gordon Liddy of professional wrestling, but he did give a fairly semi-athletic performance as, well, what can you expect from Teddy Long? He didn't really do much of anything. Ellering got the glove off of Teddy Long and knocked him out with it, thereby enabling him to score a victory, and hair was supposed to come off of Teddy Long, but that didn't happen, really, did it, Jeff?
Well, he did get a little hair off, John.
I know I've seen Bruce Beefcake deliver a more thorough barber jobs than that. Damn it.
All right, but nonetheless, Ellering was the victor in this match.
All right, let's clear the air here and say that while this match was a ripoff, both men did give a good performance considering what athletic prowess they did possess.
But remember, folks, the performer of the night was Cactus Jack. Cactus Jack rules in my book, John.
He's okay.
Yeah, right. All right, the next match saw Rock and Roll Express took on the Freebirds in a strap match, John.
I thoroughly enjoyed this match, Jeff. Freebirds and Rock and Roll Express both gave very good performances, particularly the Rock and Roll Express. What?
Whether you like them or not, the Rock and Roll Express is probably one of the best tag teams out there today.
You know, when they were wrestling here in CWA here recently, before they went to the NWA, I thought, God, these guys suck potatoes. But then they went to the NWA, and things have looked up for them, and I predict a series of matches with the Midnight Express for the U.S. tag. But that's revealing something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the Rock and Roll Express ended up with the victory when Rick Morton sunset flipped Michael Hayes for the victory. The whips were used quite a bit in this match. I didn't expect them to be used as much as they were, but they were used, and the crowd was really into this match.
All right. Flying Brian and the Z-Man defended their U.S. Tag Team titles against the Midnight Express, and I went out for pizza during this match, so we'll have John tell you about it.
All right, Jeff. While Jeff was away eating pizza and getting gas, I was viewing this match, and I was really pleased with this match because all four men were involved, and they were really giving some super moves, particularly Bobby Eaton, which is no surprise to me nor Jeff, huh, Jeff?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Bobby Eaton won the match with a small cradle, inside cradle, pinning cleanly Tom Zink. I predict that the Rock and Roll Express and Midnight Express will resume their years-long feud and feud over the U.S. Tag titles, and I'm looking forward to this series of matches, Jeff.
I am too, Johnny. You know, the Midnight Express never ceases to amaze me, especially Bobby Eaton. And he's one of the top workers in the business, and everybody knows that for a fact. Now, the next match saw the World Tag Team titles on the line. The Steiners took on Doom, and just as we said, John, Doom won the match with a pinfall. And I don't know what this spells for the Steiners. They've had Titan offers, but I doubt if we'll see that. I think they're going to get fed a little bit more buckaroos, if you know what I mean.
What does this spell for the Steiners? How do they spell muscle mass? Jeff, they spell Steroids. Steroids. Well, that's another story. But anyway, the Steiners look kind of, they took a lot of punishment in this match, as did Doom. But Doom came away the better team. I predicted they would win it, and so did you. So we were right on the money. That tells you what kind of wrestling journalists we are.
Because I heard a long time ago that they were going to win it. Anyway, the main event saw, what happened with the RoboCop thing, John? I missed that too.
It was pretty ignorant, Jeff, really, because Sting came out to a loud ovation, of course, followed by RoboCop a few seconds behind him. The Horsemen were waiting for him. They attacked him and put him in the cage, which previously Jim Cornette was in during the Midnight Express match. And they put Sting into the cage, and RoboCop came out there and grabbed the bars of the cage and pulled them apart. Obviously, these metal bars of the cage were rubber, and he ripped the cage door off. Obviously, it was unhinged to begin with, because this, it's too cartoonish for me. Well, anyway, RoboCop chased the Horsemen away, and that was the end of that skit.
All right, let's talk about the main event, John. Ric Flair defending his world title against Lex Luger. We fooled all the experts. They said, hey, Luger's going to take it. There's no doubt about it. Ole Anderson is hired as new booker. Says Flair, you can keep it, Rick. But
don't you think Ole Anderson makes a better booker than Richard Grieco?
Give me a break, John. We saw the Blade come out during this match, and I couldn't believe this, John. We're actually getting some blood again. I don't know what's going on with Hurd, but they outlawed the blood just a few short months ago. I don't know what's going on. I don't know, but Flair lost on a disqualification, and he was pretty hyped up after the match, getting riled up with some fans, if you will, ranting and raving. I couldn't believe how hyper he was.
I know. But back to the match, Jeff. Ric Flair and Lex Luger gave a very good performance. I wouldn't say the best performance of their life, but they did give a good performance, and both men were into the match, and the crowd was into the match as well. And believe it or not, yes, as you mentioned, Ric Flair did bleed. He did blade. He did bleed like a stuck pig. He was bleeding everywhere. Your girlfriend was watching this match, and she was totally grossed out to the maximum, I'm telling you. But I kind of liked it.
Yeah, then El Gigante comes out during the end of this match. Ole Anderson, it's interesting to point out that he lifted up the cage door, let all the Horsemen in. Barry Windham, me and you thought he no-showed again. We've been hearing stories that he would just rather stay home in bed than show up from work, but he was there.
Evidently, Barry is enthused about being in the NWA. He wants to be an active participant in the Four Horsemen. You know, when we didn't see him there, I thought, well, heck, he's not going to show up.
But El Gigante looked like a total geek.
He was wearing this kind of Trojan warrior outfit, and he did look big, but his arms were like as big as mine and yours. He just wouldn't make it as a wrestler. He merely stood there trying to intimidate the Horsemen. He didn't lay a hand on any of them, and if he did, he wouldn't know what he was doing. He looked green as the grass in my yard, Jeff.
All right. I can't believe this, John. For the first time in several pay-per-views, Jim Ross did not say, "You're gonna have to tune into the 900 number to find out what happened." They cut it off while they were sort of fighting. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't call them 900 numbers anymore, John.
I don't either. It's a waste of money.
Oh, yes, another interesting thing. While my girlfriend was watching, we were talking about the use of steroids. And speaking of Cactus Jack, she goes, "Is he on steroids?" And, John, what was your reply?
No, he's not on steroids. He's on food.
All right. I want to give a big thanks to Vince De Palma while we're closing the show up here. Those are the big Capital Combat results. Big thanks to Vince De Palma, and a very, very huge, tremendous thanks and hello to John Anthony of the Wrestling Spotlight.
And as for the Jersey Jerk, we won't give you anything.
All right, we did get a plug up there on the Wrestling Spotlight on the radio show. And I want to really thank Vince De Palma for that. We really appreciate it, Vinny. And Brian Tramel, he did send me a rebuttal yesterday or the day before, stating that...
that isn't surprising, Jeff. Seeing as he's a pervert, a butt would be involved.
What?
A rebuttal. Forget it, it's a joke.
Anyway, he did say, now Lawler stated that Meltzer's opinion and Tramel's opinion don't mean anything, and Tramel went on to say, if their opinions don't mean anything, why does Lawler make such a big deal out of this? You know, I don't know. I don't know about this, but Tramel said that he did not run out of the dressing room. As Lawler stated, he walked out, and he did not run away from him, and he was not afraid of Lawler. That's what Brian Tramel had to say, and he ended the quote with, "Let's all bow to the king." So I don't know. You have to talk to Brian about that.
We're remaining neutral.
Also, a special hello. We've got a couple of new listeners here. Michael Madugno, I think. Michael Madugno Jr. of New York. Another New York listener, John.
Oh, great.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with him, John. We want to welcome him aboard the Cassette Wrestling News team. And a special hello to Christopher Martin from Springfield, Illinois. I'd like to welcome him aboard the Cassette Wrestling News team, John, and feel free to drop us any comments about wrestling on cassette. We'd be more than happy to play them on the air. Remember, it's your show, too.
That's right, and I won't make fun of you.
Yeah, right, John. John, I found out that from a couple of sources that they were going to bring Terry Funk in as a special referee for this match, but he did quit, and it was going to turn out that Luger was going to win the title, Flair was going to beat up Funk, and Funk was going to join Luger and Sting. And man, I'd love to see that. But
unfortunately, the Funky Man decided against it, and he decided he was going to stay out of the picture. Well, you got to respect Terry Funker's opinion on what he wants to do.
Yeah, but I'd love to see him wrestle again, John.
Wouldn't everybody? Damn it!
What? John, as you heard earlier on the tape of the Jerry Lawler interview, he said he wishes the NWA would work more closely with the smaller organizations like they used to.
Well,
and this was going to take place with Jerry Jarrett, and I don't know why, but he nixed the deal.
They were going to do just that. They were going to have a kind of a merger. The NWA has been trying to expand its talent. They've been dealing with the AWA, and they were going to deal with the USWA, but Jerry Jarrett screwed things up. I don't know what his problem is. He's not interested in the sport of wrestling. He's interested in how much money he can make off the sport of wrestling. And as far as the AWA goes, I don't know what happened there, but the NWA is no longer dealing with them either. We're back to square one, damn it.
I want to make note that Doug Furness was on the pay-per-view, and he'll be back in the NWA.
As well as Junkyard Dog, Jeff.
Was he? Was that when I was getting the pizza, John?
Must have been.
All right. I'm impressed with Doug Furness. Now, if we could get Dan Crowfoot.
What about Junkyard Dog?
No comment. All right, John, we kind of got out of hand on this tape, a little bit more comedy, but we'll kind of cut down on the next tape.
Yeah, let us know what you think about this, whether you like it or not, and we'll respect your opinions and do our show as such.
All right, is there anything, any final words you'd like to comment on, John?
Well, I'd like to thank everybody who's listening to us, and give us some time. The show will get better and better, and we'll get new subscribers, and hopefully this thing will be big, and, we'll really have an impact on the wrestling business in a positive way.
I'd like to remind everybody, all the bulletin editors, that if you want your plug-in, you're going to have to send it in yourself. And we welcome all types of tape response. If you have results or commentary or anything, just send it to Cassette Wrestling News, Post Office Box 765, Boonville, Indiana 47601. $3 for a sample issue, $16 for 6 issues, and $30 for 12 issues.
Jeff, you're pretty stupid.
John, I don't know about the stupid part, but I sure am pretty. All right, if any of you need to talk to me, my phone number is area code 812-867-7962.
I don't think I'm giving out mine. The deluge of girls calling me would be unbearable.
Yeah, right. All right, next issue. I don't know about an interview, but we're going to go out and talk a little bit more in depth about the NWA and the USWA deal, what all fell through on that, and all the other regular features here on Cassette Wrestling News. Once again, thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed Capital Combat. And, this is Jeff Osborne.
And John Seaton saying,
keep your shoulders off the mat and keep reaching for the ropes.
What?
Memphis Wrestling is on the road. Join us live next Saturday, September 7th. Memphis Wrestling returns to the Dyer County Fair for Generations of Champions. Bell time is 7 p.m. Friday, September 13th, Memphis Wrestling is live at the Lauderdale County Fair in Ripley, Tennessee. It's free. Sunday, September 15th, TNA wrestling star Jonathan Gresham returns to Memphis Wrestling. Friday, September 20th, Memphis Wrestling returns to New Albany, Mississippi for a huge fundraiser benefiting Ingomar Baseball featuring the Dirty Bird Brawl. Saturday, September 21st, Memphis Wrestling is coming to Ghost River Brewing on Main Street for a huge night of action. Monday, September 23rd, don't miss Memphis Wrestling Live at the Mid-South Fair. All tickets are on sale now. Get yours right now at memphiswrestling.tv.
Hey guys, I love my Quicksilver rewards card from Capital One, and here's what I want to do. I want to get you to get one. That's right, earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase every day. Plus, if you use my link, I'll get you $200 cash bonus. That's right. Cash cash bonus from me, BT, because I'm your friend. Captain One, go to link of all links. Go to my link of all links at stspod.club, right-hand corner, and get your Captain One Quicksilver Rewards card right now, today. What is in your wallet? Make it Captain One.
This episode is sponsored by Vitality Chiropractic, your trusted partner in wellness right here in Jonesboro and Newport, Arkansas. At Vitality Chiropractic, we believe in the power of natural healing and the importance of a healthy spine for overall well-being. Life can be hectic, and stress can take a toll on our bodies. If you're experiencing back pain, headaches, or just feeling out of alignment, it's time to make a positive change. Step into Vitality Chiropractic, where our experienced and caring team of chiropractors is dedicated to helping you achieve optimal health. We specialize in personalized chiropractic care tailored to meet your unique needs. Call 870-523-2225 to make an appointment today.
This episode is also brought to you by Bear. Eat better, live better. These guys are the best meal prep company in Northeast Arkansas. So get 15% off with our code STSPodClub at bear870.com. That's 15% off. Use our code STSPodClub at bear870.com. Trust Bear for your meal prep needs in Northeast Arkansas. Eat better, live better. Bear. This episode is also brought to you by SpunkLube.com. Remember, when you're getting funky like a monkey, if you know what I mean, use Spunky. That's right. Go to www.spunklube.com and tell them STS Pod sent you. You want the best, you got the best. The best little wrestling podcast in the business. All episodes on www.stspod.club. Did you enjoy that episode? Cash App us at $BTSTS. If you've never downloaded the Cash App, download it today. You'll get a free, that's right, a free $5 for using the code $BTSTS. That's $BTSTS. Hey, that was another great episode of Shooting the Shiznit. Thank you for listening, and thank you to all our sponsors. A big shout out to Bob McGee at Pro Wrestling's Between the Sheets. Remember, you can reach us on Twitter at Comic Book Mark BT, Instagram at BT Shooting the Shizit. That's right, Shooting the Shizit without a G. Facebook Shooting the Shiznit, and Facebook Cool Kids Wrestling and MMA Talk. If we don't like you in that group, first you have to ask to get in. If we don't like you, we'll kick you out. All the episodes are at one place, and that's www.stspod.club. Podcast Roll Call. Who's Right Podcast. Po Boys Podcast. D3 Radio, my buddies Richard and Josh. My World with Conrad Thompson and my friend Jeff Darren. Lance's favorite include Nickology, Rock Solid, Playlist Wars, I'm Fat Podcast. Hey guys, remember, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.